Like to welcome Huma here for another delicious cooking demonstration. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Anne, and thank you for putting it together. I greatly appreciate that. Welcome, everyone, to the Pakistani cooking class. I'm Huma Siddiqui Sides, and I'm originally from Pakistan, grew up there, and then sort of moved around the world a little bit, lived in North Africa for a while, and then in England, and then moved here to Wisconsin. So there was a bit of a culture shock there.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my goodness.
From driving on the wrong side of the road to not finding spices at that time. I mean, I've been here in Wisconsin about 26 years, which is longer than I've been in Pakistan.
That's longer than I've been here.
Have you? Yeah, it feels like home now. And, I like the people. I like how beautiful this state is.
Yes.
And whenever we go out for a drive, it's just amazing. It's postcard views. We love
it. Yes. Yeah.
Very, very pretty. And we love the people. I feel like being a part of the community, and that's very important to me. So, I started teaching cooking classes. My background is actually accounting and IT. But I like to cook. I always love to cook. I've lived wherever I have lived. I've been cooking and inviting people, and food is such a language between, regardless of where you live, where you grew up, food brings people together, and that's something that I've always loved. And wherever I've lived, I've made a lot of friends because people like to eat, and it has always worked. And my kids grew up with all this food, and the house smells good, and what else do you need at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So I started White Jasmine just by teaching cooking classes, and it has kind of grown into a spice and cheese company. But I still love teaching the classes is my favorite thing. We have all these spices. I'm going to use our Sajji Masala. So these three spices are my blends: our tandoori, garam, and also the Sajji that we are going to use today I like the Sajji mostly because for the seafood, it has a chipotle barbecue kind of flavor. So it adds a lot to your shrimp or cod or salmon, whatever you want to make. And, to vegetables as well. I didn't want it to make spices that this is just for vegetables, this is just for fish. These are very universal. You can use it however you want, whichever flavor you like. So having said that, let's start with and this is one of my favorite recipes during winter, and my family loves it too. So I have some cod pieces. I've cut them about this big, as you can see. And then just kind of add a little bit of salt. And this is kosher salt, a little bit of our Sajji Masala. And some olive oil. And just leave it in there. The fish is happy. It's kind of doing its thing.
This is happy.
It looks happy. It has all the wonderful fragrances coming out. And I'm going to chop up some of the onions, the red onions, and also some green. So if you're cooking along, let me know, and I can slow down as well because I'm used to just kind of doing my thing. But if you need to catch up, please do let me know.
Oh, that smells so good.
So that's nice. And wait until you add the garlic and all, onions and everything is just. And cooking for me is very therapeutic, You kind of take your time to make something wonderful.
Yes.
Slow down a little bit. We run around all day long. So this gives us an opportunity to kind of think about enjoying the evening. I'm going to start this. I have to plug it in. So it's at 375 degrees. So basically medium high. and you just warm up your pan. The thing is that you want to take a couple of minutes for every step because you want all the flavors to really come together. And they are not going to come together if you add everything at the same time. So you just warm up your pan, just kind of relax if you like a glass of wine, if you like a cup of tea, or make some tea.
Oh, very good.
Enjoy it. So as it warms up, add some olive oil. And again, just wait a little. I noticed in my recipe, I forgot to add that once the oil is warm, add the cinnamon stick. So just so if you could make a note on that, that would be great. And as it starts to get warmer, you don't want it to get too hot because it's olive oil, it will catch fire. So you just want it warm enough. And you can put your hand there and feel the warmth. I'm more, I don't use thermometers and things like that. I like to just see and feel when I'm cooking. So just a little bit warmer, and then you take your cinnamon stick and break it and throw that in there. So all the flavors start to, what happens when you add the whole spices is that your oil starts to get really flavored. And that's what you would want, because then as you add more layers, all the flavors continue to grow.
Okay.
Leave food without flavor, no good. As it starts to get warmed up, I'm going to throw in the red onions. That's always a good sizzle, good sound. And you want to take your green onions. And I like to keep one of the rubber bands on because it keeps it together, as it kind of goes everywhere. You cut up all the green stuff and some of the white. You keep the band there. You add your green onions as well. So you can see as you add these layers, you will continue to develop those flavors. This is our second layer. And the color's beautiful. And the food has to be pretty, Who wants ugly food anyway? While this is kind of working its way, I'm going to take some tomatoes and slice them. And you can see these are the tomatoes on the vine. You can use these, or you can use the plum tomatoes, which are fine too. But just have to be a little, not too mushy, just a little firm. And the slices are not very thin. They're kind of,
I'm working with San Marzano Roma peppers or tomatoes, and I would assume it would be the same feeling with those.
I'm going to chop one more. And always remember to sharpen your knife before you're cooking.
Oh,
Because knife is actually more dangerous than the sharp knife.
Yes.
There are slices. Smells so good already. When I have the red pepper, I also have a yellow one. You can choose whichever one you like to use. The red pepper has a little bit more flavor compared to yellow. It's a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to use the red.
Oh, it smells so good.
I'm glad you're experiencing that. One of the things about cooking that your home feels warm and inviting and it smells so good. And I'm going to slice it like this.
Ooh, that smells so good. We need smell-o-vision.
Yeah, especially the onions, when they just smell so good once you start cooking them. And you can see they're kind of getting softer, but retaining the color, and that's what you would want.
Yes.
Let's add our tomatoes. Now spread them out. And then the peppers. Beautiful colors. I don't know about everybody else, but I like, when I use vegetables, I like them to be a little bit crisp, not soggy. And that's what I like to do with this as well. You want to just kind of gently saute it, but not really break it down.
So what is in Sajji Masala?
It's so noisy over here, I can't hear it.
Oh, tell me what is in Sajji Masala.
Oh, Sajji Masala, this has chipotle peppers, Mexican oregano, some brown sugar. So it's a combination of, let's see what else we have. We have 7 different spices in here.
Yes.
Brown sugar, chipotle peppers we talked about, Mexican oregano, and onions, granules, garlic, salt, and a couple of other spices that we can't disclose.
Okay. It smells wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Another really easy recipe with this Sajji Masala is salmon. So you take a piece of salmon, and in a bowl, just take some of the Sajji Masala, some garlic, and a little bit of olive oil. Just mix it together, put it on top of salmon, and put it in the oven at 425 for like 10 minutes. It's a very easy, simple, healthy recipe. You can make it very easily. I'm going to add our garlic, a bunch of it. Don't be shy about adding garlic, it's good for you.
Yes.
You know, people usually, I used to host a cooking show on NBC a few years ago, and I'll create my own recipes. And we had live audience, and when I'm making these dishes, I'll throw a bunch of garlic, and I could hear the hue and cry in the back about, oh my God, there's just so much garlic. But once they try it, it's you can't taste it. It's about balancing the flavors. Now I'm going to add some salt. Keep these vegetables all nice and flavorful. Also remember this salt, when you add salt, it brings out a lot of flavor from your vegetables as well as your spices. It enhances that. I know that at times people kind of avoid using salt, but it's not a bad thing within proportion. And then some Sajji Masala here. Just kind of stir it around a little bit so that the spices Get into all the veggies. Add the fish. And all the marinades that we have in here. And then one of the last pieces is our coconut milk. So just shake it well. And you don't have to add any other liquid, but just the coconut milk. Just 1/4 can of that. And mix it around. Milk just makes such a great sauce. You can't beat it. Then we add some cilantro. And I keep the cilantro in water in a bowl because it helps stay really fresh. And then also any dust or anything kind of settles at the bottom. So you just take some and just chop it. Use the stems and everything because there's a lot of flavor. I don't know why somebody started picking the leaves only and throw away the stems because there's just so much flavor in it. Don't do that. Don't waste your time. Just chop up and then we'll throw that in here. These colors. How are we doing over there in that kitchen? I know you're cooking away.
I'm cooking away and it's so good.
Yeah.
Good to cook with you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, I'm just going to turn the fish a little bit so that everything cooks together. And cover it, leave it for a few minutes. And we can check. Then you can make some rice, basmati rice on the side. You can make the Mediterranean couscous we made the last time to serve with this fish stew. Or I have some bread as well. And I kind of cut it up so you can use that as you dip in the sauce. It's always good. And I just cut them up in triangles. You can grill them if you want, if your grill is ready, or you can, and then put some butter on. Can't go wrong.
Say that again, please.
And you can grill the bread if you want, either on the stove or on your grill. Let's put it on and then use it to dip in the sauce. Then
Yes.
So that really tastes really good. Butter, bread, rice, everything tastes good. Any questions?
What's the temperature that you keep it at now?
Still on medium high. How we started, I have to change that.
Okay.
Could I just ask, is this something that's good the next day as well, or the next couple days? Okay.
You can leave it in the fridge, and it gets better as it's, the longer you leave it, but don't leave it more than a couple of days because
Okay.
it.
Yes.
So
Tomorrow.
yeah.
Okay.
And back home, when I was growing up, my mom always used to say, and I don't know if it was a myth or she was making it up or is it true? I have no idea. I just, and she always used to say that the fish and beef is good to serve in winter because it makes your body warm. It has warmth. And then in summer, we will have chicken and lamb and a lot of vegetables because it cools off your body. So
Ah, good to know. Good.
and in those days, I think refrigeration was also a little bit challenging. So that could be part of the winter that fish is usually used a lot.
We have a question that came in the chat. Margaret says, I haven't cooked with cod before. Do you use fresh or frozen?
I like to use either. You can use frozen as easily as the fresh. I mean, when you say fresh, when you go, those are actually frozen. They defrost them. It's not ready from the lake or from the sea. So use it either way. And sometimes I actually leave it a little frozen if I'm using the frozen cod because once it cooks, it leaves a little bit of liquid as well, which helps to keep that sauce.
Okay.
Let's check it.
This smells so good.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah, my fish is firm and is still. You want to keep an eye on it so that the fish doesn't get dissolved because cod is pretty, delicate fish. You want to be careful. You can use tilapia as well if you like tilapia. You can use any white fish or haddock.
Okay. It looks wonderful.
After the fish is done, it's still firm, but it looks like it's cooked. And the reason you can see that if it turns white on the sides, inside, that means it's pretty cooked.
Okay.
Good to go. A lot of times in my classes, people say, well, how do you know? Well, just look at it and you would know. As you cook more and more, you will get the sense of, what looks like what, and it's so much easier. And quite honestly, I'm not a big fan of following recipes, although I write recipes for everybody. But I like to just throw things in and they work. Because I've been cooking for so long, I feel like, oh, yeah, I know what it tastes like. And not to be arrogant, but just that it's so much easier. That's why I'm never going to be a good baker because baking is very precise. You have to.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I don't think I can ever be a good baker.
So do you actually leave the cinnamon sticks in? You leave the cinnamon sticks in?
Yes.
Okay.
It continues to cook with that and bring that flavor. And because the cinnamon sticks are pretty visible, so you can see it when you're serving it. Some of the other guys, like the little cardamoms and cloves, they usually are hard to pick out. But sometimes some of my friends get pretty, anxious about those. And I say, the most that will happen, you'll have a little explosion in your mouth for flavor, and that's it. Nothing more. It's not damaging. It's not going to do anything else. All right, I think we are good to go. I'm going to switch this off.
This is beautiful.
I'm so glad it's turning out good for you.
Yes, it's beautiful. And this is dinner tonight.
Yeah, for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm glad to hear, because the whole purpose of my classes is really to make sure that everybody else can follow the recipes and the results are good. It's not just about me cooking, you know, it is really about everybody else can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take some out in this bowl to serve.
That's much thicker than mine. How can I make it thicker?
It's just the way it is. I use the frozen cod.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of fish when you buy it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no really trick to it.
Yeah. All right.
And cilantro on top. Here some, and throw that in here. I've also been asked, which I'm really excited about, writing a culinary column for Mount Horeb Mail, and that's every month. So this month, actually, I sent him the fish stew because of the fall and how, you know, this is a perfect recipe for winter time.
Yes.
And then you just take your bread and put that in here. And there is dinner.
There is dinner. Yes. Very good. Very good.
And we will have, and I'll send you a discount code if anybody would like to use that 20% off from our website. You can, anything $25 or more, you can get 20% off with that discount code. So, and I'll send it to you so you can share it with everybody else.
Excellent, thank you. So yeah, everybody watch your emails from me then. So I'll be passing that along. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And again, I appreciate it. Have a great fall.
You too.
much. Oh, and the kitchen smells so good.
I bet. Thank you so much, Uma.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
You too. Good
Thank
night.
you.